So you can see my video on doing cation, anion test and flame test, and then you could be presented with unknown solutions. So here I have 5 different unknowns, and I want to use a combination of cation, anion and flame test to work out what's each, or what each salt is. So firstly, to work out the cation, so in these test tubes I have measured out some of each of my salt solutions, and then for the cation test I'm going to add sodium hydroxide and observe any of the reactions. So I'm not going to talk you through these reactions, I want you to look at the previous videos to decide yourself. So I'll just add sodium hydroxide to all of them. So the first one, what did you observe? The second one, again, what did you observe? Same with third. Because some of them form white precipitates that are insoluble in excess sodium hydroxide, I'll just add more. So this one has also got a precipitate. I'll add. And finally to the last one. Based on those reactions, you should be able to narrow down the cations to a certain degree. You would now do flame tests to work out what color each one is. Because the flame tests don't show up particularly well in a video, I'm just going to tell you some of that information. So for the first one, the flame test should be yellow. The second one should be blue-green. The third should be a brick red. The fourth, a light green. And the fifth one, lilac. So with that information, you should be able to work out the cations in the salt. So that's the first part of the name. So say, for example, sodium chloride, I'd be able to identify the sodium. So for the anion tests, we are going to test for halides, for carbonates, and for sulfates. So the first thing I'm going to do is to test for the halides, and then if any of them react, we know we can rule them out. So I'm just going to add a bit of nitric acid. Again, I've measured out 1 of each 5. Just acidify it with nitric acid. And then I'll add silver nitrate, and we'll see if there's a reaction. So you can see that some of them did react, and you can use these to work out what is what. Only one of them has not reacted, and I'm going to then take this. I'll add a bit of nitric acid. I'll grab a fresh. I'll grab a fresh one. So this is number 2. And I'll put it in. And I'll add some nitric acid. And there's no fizzing. So that will tell you it's not one of the options. I'll add it to the next one. And this time I'm going to carry out a sulfate test. So for the sulfate test, I'm going to add some nitric acid again. And this time I'm going to add some barium chloride. And we'll see if there's a reaction. Okay, so you can see there's a reaction. And you can work out what that means. So based on these 3 tests, you should be able to work out if there's any halides, carbonates, or sulfates among them, and that will give you the second part of the salt name.